अच्युतं केशवं कृष्णं दामोदरं रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभम्. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, honorable authorities, eminent speakers, fellow faculty members and students. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome all of you on behalf of Jaipuria School of Business. We are extremely delighted to have you all here at the beginning of a new journey and to mark another landmark of success at Jaipuria School of Business. Happy to announce the 2-week of orientation program for the new batch PGDM 2021-23 called Prarambh. Om Saraswati Mai Trastve Veena Pustak Dharini Hans Vahini Samuktay Ma Vidya Dan Karuti Me Om. To make this morning a blessed one, let's invoke the blessings from Goddess Saraswati by virtually kindling the lamp of knowledge and wisdom.
शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता.
Thank you, Shantaji. There are a lot of ways to lead a team of people, but while not everyone might agree on the most effective type, we all can agree that the performance of the team heavily relies on its leaders, so does ours. Let me take this opportunity to invite Dr. Jiten Kumar Mishra, Director, Jaipuria School of Business, PhD in Economics. His experience spreads over a period of 2 decades in various facets of academy. Dr. Mishra has been well connected with the academic and other professional bodies. He has been on the National Executive Board of Association of Indian Management Schools since 2016 and has served as the Regional Vice President South for the year 2018-19. He is also a member of the National Advisory Board of CEGR Delhi. I would like to request respected Director Sir to deliver welcome address and share his words of wisdom, which will work as inspiration to all our students and colleagues. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vartika. Honorable Chairman, Sri Sisir Jaipuria ji, esteemed Chief Guest, Mr. Nitish Bajaj, CEO, Consumer Product Division, Piramal India, distinguished guest of honor, Mr. Gaurav Sabharwal, CEO, India and South Asia, Kantar Public. He will be joining in a while. A special guest, Mr. Alok Vash, Senior Management Professional and former Group CFO, Jubilant Life Sciences. Respected Shri Vinod Malhotra ji, Dr. Devinder Narang ji, members of Board of Governors, members of Academic Advisory Council, guests, my distinguished colleagues on the faculty, members of staff, members from media, my dear incoming students, parents, alumni, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the inaugural ceremony of the orientation program of the PGDM batch 2021-23. It's indeed a very proud and auspicious moment for us when our new batch is going to mark a new journey for a very bright future. It is a privilege for all of us to have Mr. Nitish Bajaj as the chief guest for the commencement day of PGDM 2021-23 batch. His vast experience in brand architecture, marketing strategy, mergers and acquisitions, and his exemplary accomplishments serve as an example of a dedicated duty and is an inspiration to us all. Sir, I welcome you to this auspicious day on behalf of the entire Jaipuria group of institutions and on behalf of the faculty, staff, and students of Jaipuria School of Business. Hearty welcome. Thank you. It is my privilege to welcome Mr. Gaurav Sabharwal ji, our guest of honor for the day. Sir, your rich experience in business, technology, and transaction consulting across various domains within the Government and Public Services Division would inspire students to widen their perspective pertaining to their learning and career planning. We are very delighted to have you today to address our student. Hearty welcome, sir. It is my privilege to welcome Mr. Alok Best, the special guest. He is a special because while being an accomplished management professional, having led the organizations from pharmaceutical and life sciences, online travel, investment banking, and auto manufacturing, he is an alumnus of our Kanpur school. I am sure our incoming students would look up to you for their inspiration and would be able to relate to you. We are indeed delighted to have you today to address our students on their commencement day. It is my privilege to welcome Shri Sisir Japuria ji, Chairman, Seth Anandram Japuria Educational Society, whose dynamism and vision for professional education is the guiding force in shaping up the Japuria group of institutions, including Japuria School of Business. I welcome Shri Vinod Malhotra ji, Advisor, Japuria Group of Educational Institutions. All the esteemed members of the Board of Governors, members of Academic Advisory Council, patron members of Japuria family, heads of the various Japuria Group of institutions, corporate and academic guests, members of faculty, proud parents, and family members of the incoming students, and members of media. I welcome you all to this very auspicious day. I would like to congratulate the incoming students of batch 2021-23 for successfully completing their selection process for getting in the program and finally securing the admission to the 2-year full-time PGDM program at Japuria School. Dear students, during your study for the 2-year of the program, you will find the institute full of energy and enthusiasm, encouraging you all to think creatively and act confidently. Curriculum is thoughtfully designed to ensure you gain knowledge, develop skill and attitude relevant to the industry 4.0, and get enough choices in terms of your electives to cater to your learning and career interests. So you have got flexibility and you have got richness, both where you can match your interests and aspirations appropriately. You have specializations in the area of marketing, finance, HR, operations and supply chain management, business analytics, and international business. You can find your fit and choose whatever fit in your scheme of things. Additionally, the curriculum is complemented with certifications, workshops, and internship to ensure you get transformed as a well-rounded professional during the 2-year of the program. The only here at JSB, students are an active partner in the teaching learning process. The students are encouraged to take charge of their learning and make best use of the resources, facilities, and opportunities for carving leaders out of themselves. The students are our priority, and we take pride in going extra mile to ensure that their all-round development is done. Here, learning is not confined to classrooms. Rather, it is complemented by regular interaction with industry experts, industrial visits, group work, industry seminars, and conclaves, internships, and live projects, and many more. The Institute offers an ecosystem where learning happens round the clock in multiple ways from diverse resources. My request to you all is to get out of your conditioning, forget about your past, and make sure that your past should not be a limitation to dream for your new future. You might have scored differently in your interest test. You might have come from different stream of your undergraduate program. You have come from different socio-cultural background, but your past should not be restriction. It should not be limitation to unlock your future or your ambition. You must unlock your ambition, come out of your comfort zone, and bring best out of yourself. I would like to, I'm very fond of this very story. I would like to share with you a story that will give you a clarity that how the things unfold. And the story is very simple. There was a gentleman passing by the village at the foot of the hill, and he saw it was a summer scorching sun, and he saw that it was all very inhabited, but some people were having some activity on the hillside. He went closer, and when he reached closer, he found that some people are cutting stones. A group of people are sitting full of sweat and little agitated, while others were trying to cut a stone. He asked to them, "What are you doing, gentlemen, in such a summer?" They were very agitatingly replied, "Can't you see that we are cutting stones? It's such a curse. In such a scorching sun, we have to work. What an irony." He said, "Okay, all the best." He further moved on and saw that another set of people are working on the little up on the hillside. When he went there, he found that people are little decently engaged, working peacefully. There was a bigger pile of stones being cut. He asked the same question, "What are you people doing?" And they said, "We are stone cutters. We are cutting stones, and this is how we earn our living." He said, "That's great." Further, he moved up and found that there was another set of people who were working very joyfully, almost engrossed in their work. When he reached to them, even they did not notice him. When he asked to somebody that, "What are you doing? What is happening here?" They said, "Our village has a misfortune. We have been suffering by drought and pandemic, and we had all been very disturbed. Now we are building a nice temple of goddess, and with her blessing, we are going to have our fortune coming back. The entire village will worship, and that will bring fortune to us." And that was the meditative state they were working. If you reflect the three situations, all have the same external condition, but their response and their attitude were different. The same is the case with organizations, with institutions. When you all are joining, I'm sure none of you are of the first kind, but if you come across people who are always having a kind of agitation, take the work as a burden, they find external environment always disturbing, not comfortable, they have got all the complaints, and they keep cursing the situation, stay away from them. Because that attitude helps nobody. On the contrary, it vitiates the ecosystem. So you need to guard yourself that you don't fall trap to that. You will have the second set of people who have limited perspective. They have got mechanical way of doing the work. So for them, their marks, their grades, or at most their placement and job may be the objective. They will be doing decent, they will remain confined to that. That's fine. But you will have a selected people, or I wish that you all should be of that kind, who will be inspired, who will find opportunity and try to go extra mile in making use of this opportunity to contribute best, which will automatically help them making a best career out of it. So you need to look at this entire opportunity as a very distinct case of advantage where you can get best out of it by your attitude and your contribution. So look for the opportunity rather than finding fault in the situation, because that doesn't help. I wish you that you all should have that inspiration, and you are going to draw a lot of more inspiration from our speakers of the day, and look forward to contributing something distinct which you have carved for. You all are different, you all are talented, that is how you have landed here. I wish that your best potential come out. I once again congratulate you on this day when you are starting your new journey, and wish you all the best. Happy learning. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. A positive role model serves an example, inspiring all around him to live meaningful lives. Role models show us how to live with integrity, optimism, hope, determination, and compassion. An individual who is looked upon and revered by everyone, Shri Shishir Jaipuria ji, the chairman of St. Anandram Group. His commitment to education and special affection to Jaipuria School of Business is evident by his presence among us despite his busy schedule. Mr. Shishir Jaipuria is the chairman of St. Anandram Jaipuria Group of Educational Institution, which has been in the field of education from the last 75 years, making a humble beginning in 1945 when an undergraduate college was started in Calcutta. Presently, the group operates in all the verticals of education, landscape, and runs 5 preschools, 12 K-12 schools, and 2 management institutions. Mr. Jaipuria is also the co-chair at FICCI Arise, the vertical of FICCI, which takes care of interest independent schools by focusing on policy advocacy and defining norms for standards and transparency. He is also serving as the CMD at Guinea Filaments Limited, an integrated textile company which holds a large share of technical textile market in India. I'm highly privileged to invite our Honorable Chairman, Sir, Shri Shishir Jaipuria ji, to enlighten us with his insightful thoughts. Over to you, sir.
Good morning to all of you. Respected Mr. Nitish Bajaj, Chief Guest of today's function, Mr. Gaurav Sabharwal, Guest of Honor, Mr. Alok Vaish, Special Guest, Director JSB, Mr. Jitendra Mishra, Dr. Devendra Narang, Shri Vinod Malhotra ji, faculty members and dear students. On behalf of the Board of Governors, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome all the students who have joined the batch of 2021-23 at the Jaipuria School of Business. I would also like to welcome our distinguished guests from the industry who have found out time to address the students at the orientation program. We are having the orientation program on a virtual mode on account of devastating effect of the pandemic, which has adversely affected life, livelihoods, and our way of work. The new normal will be very different from the one we have witnessed earlier, and we have to adapt to this change. Today, the world is at an inflection point with rapid advancements being made in technology, climate change, and globalization. The penetration of smartphones and high-speed internets globally has made data accessible to a large number of people at a very competitive price, and the world is rapidly moving from physical to digital mode. The pandemic has only accelerated the process, and consumer behaviors and habits have seen fundamental shift as people have been forced to work from home. All sectors, including banking, insurance, retail, entertainment, education, hospitality, food delivery, etc., all have seen rapid transition to the digital platform and have grown at an exponential rate. All over the world, we have seen that education sector has been impacted. In India, the impact has been severe because a lot of people had no access to devices, connectivity, and networks, particularly in the rural and remote areas. Fortunately, with the increased availability of vaccine and reduction in the rate of virus, we are hopeful that physical classes will resume in the next 2 or 3 months. With the advancements of technology, artificial intelligence, robotics, machine learning, Internet of Things, 3D printing, driverless cars, augmented reality, genome sequencing, etc., and the advent of Industry 4.0, the job market has undergone a paradigm shift. Employment opportunities will be affected in those jobs which are repetitive and routine, and the same will be taken over by machines. On the other hand, jobs will grow in areas which require creativity, care, intuition, communication, analysis, emotions, etc. In short, physical jobs will be replaced by machines and cognitive jobs will be in demand. Hence, the need will be to constantly learn, unlearn, and relearn new skills relevant to the changing job requirements of the industry. The lifespan of people will continuously increase, and they might have to change 4 or 5 jobs or even more during the duration of employment. This will require people to be more flexible and adaptable and ready to retrain themselves. In the future, drones will be delivering goods to us. Cars will be driverless and will be run on batteries. 3D printing will be able to print designs and create parts of bodies, cars, and construct buildings. We have already seen Mr. Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world, travel to space on 20th of July on the Blue Origin spacecraft, which was preceded by Richard Branson of Virgin Airlines. He took this journey in 10 minutes, going 100 kilometers above the surface of the Earth. What a spectacular event it was. The speed of change will only multiply, and we are undoubtedly living in an unprecedented and ambiguous world. As Dr. Jitendra Mishra ji mentioned, the Academic Council of JSB, along with him and the faculty members, have fully realigned the curriculum to meet the changing needs of the industry. They will constantly guide you in your journey to sharpen your skills in digital proficiency, data analysis, entrepreneurship, communication, and critical thinking. Apart from regular classroom teaching, the Institute will offer large number of opportunities to learn through case study methods, gamifications, simulations, and industry visits, and interaction with corporate leaders. I would urge each one of you to take full advantage of the various initiatives provided by the Institute and try to engage yourself actively and participate in the same. You're all joining PGDM program at a time when the country is recovering from the aftermath of the COVID and is witnessing a V-shaped recovery. The government of India has taken various measures to support the industry and employment, and the overall outlook looks very positive. The Digital India campaign, Jan Dhan Yojana, ease of doing business, reforms in the banking and capital market, and Startup India are all key drivers of change. On the one hand, it is empowering the people at the bottom of the pyramid, while on the other hand, it is creating opportunities for young and budding entrepreneurs to start their own business. In the last few years, we have seen excitement in technology companies who are creating value for customers by providing services at lower cost and maximizes customers' convenience and comfort. The foreign companies are also actively investing in our country to take advantage of the robust domestic demand. Today in the newspaper, I was reading that a lot of companies are now in the hiring mode and a lot of job opportunities will be coming forth in the next couple of years. I was informed by the director that most of you have participated in the pre-induction programs held by the Institute in the month of July, which was addressed by the representatives of the industry as well as prestigious global educationists who have shared their thoughts and the expectations of the industry for a postgraduate student. We also have here today 3 distinguished industry experts who will be talking to you. With my experience, I would like to share that most important mantra for success is to dwell upon 3 basic preliminary questions. Whether it is on the personal front, family front, or your professional front, one has to be clear about why one is doing a particular thing, how it will be achieved, and where you are starting from. I would strongly suggest that the vision of yours should be thoroughly discussed with the counselors and the directors. The purpose can be to join a prestigious organization or MNC, or joining a family business and taking it forward, or becoming an entrepreneur by yourself. Once you're clear about the goal in life, then one has to commit completely to the cause. One has to work with passion and perseverance, and the rigor is the key to success. There is a saying, vision without action is like daydreaming. Action without vision is a nightmare. I will repeat this. Vision without action is like daydreaming. Action without vision is a nightmare. So, hence, you have to have a vision first, and then you have to act and commit yourself to that vision. Once the goal is clear, one has to ensure how the same can be achieved, and that is the process of change. What are the different skills and competencies required to learn? Apart from class lectures, one has to focus on soft skills and avoid distractions. We all know that in today's environment, there are a lot of distractions, and how to stay focused is something that we have to ensure, because there will be divergence, and at times it is important to spend time, relax, but nonetheless, we should not deviate from the focus that we have. Your journey as a business executive begins today. And I'm saying this repeatedly. Treat yourself as an executive from today onwards, although it is your orientation program. But you have to exhibit a culture and a habit of an executive. And constantly, you have to compete with nobody but yourself. Today's ecosystem requires a strong presence on social media as well. And I would urge the director and his team to build a portfolio of each one of you and to familiarize you with the tools which helps you to connect and interact with professionals. As we all know, we are living in a hyper interconnected world, and one's digital footprint will create an impact in due course of time. You have to continuously measure where you are and where you want to reach and pursue excellence at every stage. Mr. Muhammad Ali, world's greatest boxer and one of the most significant sporting figure, was once asked, "What makes a champion?" He replied, "It is the will and skill. Once you have the will, skill will automatically come." So, dear students, you must experiment, be inquisitive, be curious, be ready to take risk. Because today, failure is not a dirty word. We have seen one of the greatest scientists, Thomas Edison. He tried to make the electrical bulb, but he failed 999 times. And people asked him, "Why did you fail 999 times and succeed 1,000 times?" He said, "I have not failed. I was gaining experience." I remember a story when Sachin Tendulkar, the iconic cricketer who is the topmost cricketer of the world, was once playing with the Australian team. And one bowler, Brett Hogg from Australia, who was a Chinaman bowler, a spinner, bowled him out. And it was his first test match. And he was so excited that he came up to Mr. Sachin Tendulkar and told him, "Sachinji, I've bowled you out. Now I want this ball from whom I've bowled you out. I want that you should sign and write that I have bowled you out from this ball." And Sachin immediately took the pen and he said, "This is the last time," and he wrote, "This is the last time that you have bowled me out." They met almost 30 times after that in different tests in India and abroad. But Sachin prepared himself with commitment, and in the next 30 tests, there was not a single occasion that he was bowled out by Brett Hogg. So this is the commitment level of people who make a remarkable change and become an example for them to lead the others. You all must be observing the Olympics as well, which is happening in Tokyo, Japan, Olympics 2020. Over 11,000 athletes are contesting from 206 countries for over 1,000 medals. Each athlete as a coach. And these sportspersons prepare themselves rigorously for 10 to 15 years to get or even qualify for the Olympics. In some of the events, the victory margin is 0.01 second. Imagine a race of 100 meters wherein the results came in only yesterday. The margins are so low that one is surprised how much work goes into it. And the event finishes in 10 seconds. It is less than 10 seconds today, and the bar has been continuously being raised. So this is the challenge that we are seeing in the world today. I draw a lot of inspiration from these young sportsmen, and I think all of you must try to see them and try to emulate because they are so much of an inspiration because of their commitment and deep work that they do. Before I conclude, I must stress that innovations and values will be always at a premium. Try to pursue your passion with 100% commitment. There are tremendous opportunities which are opened up in the world. However, the challenge is that one has to look at sustainable growth and has to have a balanced approach towards life, towards people, towards the planet, and towards profit. If you have the right mindset and the right attitude, there's nothing that can withhold you. Our country is blessed to have a young population who are aspirational and full of energy, and we are all resolute in our endeavor to harness their potential in the right direction. With these words, I once again welcome you all and hope that you have a good time at the college. Also, I would like to welcome once again our distinguished guests for finding out time for today's morning. Thank you indeed.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your kind, inspiring words. We are extremely fortunate to have among us Mr. Alok Vesh, corporate finance expert, former group CFO, Jubilant Life Sciences and Yatra.com. Mr. Vesh is a senior management professional with 26 years of experience, having worked in diverse sectors and geographies, pharmaceuticals and life sciences, ingredients, online travel, bathroom products and glass bottle manufacturing, investment banking and auto manufacturing. Business partner to the CEOs, CFOs and board in growing and reviewing business, setting overall strategic direction, long-term planning, fundraising, mergers and acquisition, financial planning, capital allocation, budgeting, cash flow management, investor relations, accounting, auditing, taxation, legal and corporate secretarial functions for large public listed companies in India and USA. Mr. Vesh is awarded as CFO for the year 2017 by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. His MBA from Darden School of Business, University of Virginia, USA. Extremely high on integrity, ethics, transparency, and being fair without compromises throughout his industry opinion pieces and straight from the heart blogs. I would request Mr. Vesh to share his valuable thoughts for the new batch of students. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Quite humbled by that. Really appreciate. I don't really have any prepared remarks, but what I thought I'll do is just quickly tell you the kind of twists and turns that my life has taken, and maybe hopefully your students can take some advice and inspiration from some of that stuff. Also, I'll have some few words of advice to the end. But basically, if you were to look at my life, I'm sure you've heard through. I've had a diverse set of experiences. To tell you, when I was at Jaipuria School in Kanpur in my 11th and 12th, my only focus was to be a top engineering student. I wanted to be a top class engineer. And I took all my exams for engineering, but I failed in all of those. I did not get admission in any of the IITs or any top engineering institutes at that point of time. And life truly seemed quite dismal at that point of time. But then I kind of thought maybe this is not what my life's calling was. So I decided to move to the commerce side. I moved to Delhi, did my BCom honors, then went on to do my CA. and I truly worked very, very hard in my CA. I was a national merit rank holder in my final exam. And then I went on to join Bajaj Auto. That was my first move outside my home in corporate finance, in auto manufacturing. Great. I also finished my company secretaryship. But what I realized was I did not have a holistic view of business, having done my CA and CS. I was very focused on accounts, taxation, audit, etc. So I wanted to get a holistic view of business, and that's the reason why I went in for my MBA. I went to the US, did my business school from Darden University of Virginia, which was a great experience. During the 2 years, in between the 2 years, I did my internship at Morgan Stanley Investment Banking in New York. And I worked on a client IPO and worked on an M&A transaction. And that's when I realized that my true calling was to be an investment banker. So after my graduation, I went to work on Wall Street, worked with Deutsche Bank as a mergers and acquisitions advisor. I was there for about 7 years doing mergers and acquisitions. I was right there when 2001 happened, the 9/11 event happened. I was right there in front of my eyes. The towers collapsed, and I was caught in that mushroom cloud. And again, that seemed like my life was coming to an end while I was standing there. But very quickly, obviously, I was able to come back from there and continue doing my investment banking experience. In 2004 is when I decided to move back to India, even though I think I was in the best places in terms of finance. But I wanted to be back here in India, contribute to my country, also have be closer to our parents, etc. So moved back to India, moved back with Ambit Corporate Finance. What I realized was while I had done a great job in investment banking as a banker, I wanted to move on to the principal side of things, take decisions on behalf of principals as opposed to continue to getting deals done. And that's when I joined Hindustan Sanitaryware, which was into bathroom sanitaryware manufacturing company and glass bottles manufacturing. And that was a huge culture change for me, you know, coming from US investment banking, Deutsche Bank, Wall Street, moving to a family-run business here in India as a public company CFO was a big risk. But I thought this was my introduction world. So I took that on, had a great experience there, was there for about 3 odd years, very comfortable in my position. And then again, kind of challenged myself. I got this opportunity to join a startup, which was Yatra.com. This was in the year of 2007. And Yatra was just about a startup at that point of time. And I thought this was probably a good time for me to take that risk. So I took that on, joined them as a CFO. And then that ended up being my longest stint for about 12 odd years. Great experience, truly a roller coaster experience from the highs to the lows. We went through massive adversities. Business almost came to a standstill when Kingfisher collapsed in 2012. There were times when we didn't know where our next paycheck was going to come from. But we survived all of those adversities, raised several rounds of private funds. And then finally, we took the company public, and I led that transaction of taking the company public on NASDAQ in the US markets, which was a great experience. Thoroughly enjoyed that. A lot of hard work that went into it. But took the company public in 2016. Also ended up doing a couple of other things in terms of acquisitions, obviously fundraising, and strategic planning for the company, investor relations, etc. Again, I was fairly comfortable there for 12 odd years. And then again, I kind of decided to challenge myself to take on something more challenging and larger in scope. And that's when I joined Jubilant Life Sciences, which was into pharmaceutical manufacturing and life science chemicals. Significantly larger business, obviously, than Yatra's. We were doing about 9,000 crores of revenue, about 2,000 crores of EBITDA, market cap of over 10,000 crores. I joined them as group CFO and looked after all the group businesses. Again, did a couple of transactions in terms of demerging of the life science chemicals business into a public company, etc. And then I decided to take a sabbatical break last year. I had been working nonstop for 26 odd years, wanted to spend some time with the family. So I took a break, and currently I'm on a break, exploring a couple of opportunities and what to do next. But that's kind of my history. Hopefully there's some lessons in there in terms of how one can move through diverse experiences, cultures, and learn from all of those, and continuously keep challenging yourself to do different things. Just in the end, maybe just few words of advice. Again, just purely as a elder brother, giving advice to younger people entering the business world. One is, don't just focus on one area. I think just keep your mind open as you study and as you enter your job markets. I think there's tremendous learnings from all parts of business, be it marketing, be it production, be it operations, be it finance. There's tremendous learning from each of those. So don't box yourself into one set. Ultimately, people who rise up to the senior levels have a holistic view of business and holistic experience that helps them through. Another point that Shishirji mentioned earlier, don't be afraid of failures. I think failures are very good learning experiences. Always learn from those. And always be ready to take risks, be it in your life, be it in your jobs. I think it always helps. I think the biggest risk is not taking one. So very clearly, you would always end up being better off by taking risks. So always take good calculated risks. And maybe just one more important thing is, don't be afraid to have a different opinion than your peers. I think if there is a high pressure to conform, to belong to a group, but I think if you have a different point of view, don't be afraid to voice that out or to say that out aloud, because I think businesses and CEOs do value diversity of opinions, and that's what you get hired for in terms of getting your opinions known. And sometimes you'll be happy that your different opinion probably ended up being the right decisions for the group as well. So don't be under the pressure to conform and just be agreeable to everything that the rest of the people in the teams are doing. Be very fair and ethical in whatever you do, and sometimes it's difficult at times. You have to take difficult decisions, and sometimes there are easier ways to get things done, take shortcuts, compromise on things. But ultimately, what pays off is being fair, ethical, honest in every business dealing that you do. And I cannot stress that enough in terms of how that will pay you off towards your life and in longer term business goals. And just lastly, just have fun. Don't take yourself too seriously, because nobody else does. Just enjoy life, spend time with your loved ones. There'll be a lot of pressures as you work along, but always have a good, healthy work-life balance, and just make sure that not only you're working hard, but you're also having good fun along the way. I'll stop there, and we'll be happy to share, take any questions towards the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and useful tips with us today. Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to invite our guest of honor for the day, Mr. Gaurav Sabharwal, CEO, India and South Asia, Kantar Public. Mr. Sabharwal is CEO, India and South Asia of Kantar Public, the public policy consulting division of the world's leading data and insight company, Kantar. Kantar is majority owned by Bain Capital. Mr. Sabharwal was formerly an executive director at consulting firm Ernst & Young, where he was involved in business, technology, and transaction consulting across various domains with the government and public service division. Prior to that, he was head central government for Tata Consultancy Services. He was extensive experience in digital transformation, analytics, mobile, blockchain, and cloud computing, gained through working across a broad range of sectors, including agriculture, urban housing, transport, health, and education. Besides working in India, he has far-reaching global experience, having traveled to over 40 countries. He has also held leadership roles in Europe and Middle East, having been based in those geographies. Without much ado, sir, I would request you to guide our students with your insightful experience. Sir, we have a video also, so you
so we'll play the video a little later. Maybe I'll start with a quick introduction.
Sure, sir.
So thank you so much, Dr. Vartika. So nice to be here. And good morning, a very good morning to everybody. I am so glad, about 118 of you have joined a very leading business school in India, a school with a history and school, which is well established, both as giving quality education and, having delivered candidates to the corporate world, to almost the who's who in the industry. Indeed, I had a look at I know the school for a very long time. I have an old friend there, but I re-looked at your website today and I was quite inspired to see, the students from here join so many corporates, I think a couple of things, that I wanted to say, it's all about you, that, it's not what the school gives you, really, it's what you take from the school. There's a lot there. There's immense knowledge in the professors that are teaching you. There's immense knowledge in your director who's led institution. There's immense knowledge in your seniors. There's immense knowledge in the environment around you. There's immense knowledge in the library, in the infrastructure, in the sessions with the industry. So don't. I think my first advice will be you're at the right place, doing just the right thing in terms of what this country needs. It's all about it's all about what you take from the institution, from these 2 years, because they are going to be life-changing and game-changing. Just as a little background, I did my MBA after doing my engineering from FMS Delhi University. And I think they were game changers in my life. I was an engineer who used to move around with a toolkit, back in the early 90s. And after doing my MBA from FMS, I just viewed business very differently. And that's the opportunity that you're standing at. And you're lucky among the millions of young people that we have who possibly can't afford or not as capable as you to be here. So please make the most of these 2 years. That's really the first thing, because I think today it's about you. It's all about you, actually. The second thing that I would love to say is that there's a lot of knowledge that formally a business school will give you. There's so many subjects, from organization behavior to organization politics, from marketing and media communication. We'll talk of everything to you, from marketing of products to marketing of services. We've even differentiated marketing now. We teach marketing of services as a separate concept altogether. But that said, I think there are some things that a business school will not teach you, and those are things that you will learn from your experiences, learn from the experiences of people around you, learn from leaders that you see, learn from visionaries that we've seen in India and across the world. I think that's something that'll be very important as well, because your formal education will give you a wider paradigm, but your informal education will give you the realities that you need to face the world of tomorrow. Maybe I'd love to play that little video, Dr. Vartika, because what I'm going to speak is really based on that, and it's a very, very powerful video, actually.
Yes, sir. So we are doing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, members of the jury. I can't say enough to express my appreciation for having this great honor bestowed on me. And I honestly will never forget this evening. Thank you. All through my career, there was one company that took most of my attention. That was Tata Engineering, which became Tata Motors. I spent much of my spare time, to the annoyance of some of my colleagues, on that company, because the automotive industry to me was one of the most exciting industries I've been involved in. It involved design, style, technology, speed. It was just a life of its own. So today, to share this platform with icons of the industry is something that I'm just very humbled by. Before I sit down, I just thought I'd share with you the experience I had with Jaguar Land Rover when we bought it. We bought it, and that's too long a story, when Ford decided to sell. And my friends sort of distanced themselves from me by saying, "What are you going to do with this?" Quite frankly, I didn't know. And that refrain changed from "what are you going to do with this" to "how stupid could you be to buy this?" So eventually, my first meeting with the workers at Coventry and JLR was the horrible question: what are you going to do with this plant? Are we going to close down some of the plants that we have in hardly using the capacity? And I just had no way to say that I knew what we were going to do. So finally, I stood up and said, why don't we do this? Why don't we shoulder to shoulder recreate the image that these two brands had and reignite the power of those two brands? I'm pleased to say that I did nothing more. The team at JLR, led by Ralph, who has been the leader that I think deserves this award more than me, and the team at JLR just made a huge difference in this company. And today, if I'm here to receive this award, I would like to say that I receive it with humility on behalf of Ralph and the team at JLR, who are truly the deservers of this award. But as the award can't be given to 20,000 people, I accept this on their behalf, and thank you, sir, for making this possible. It's a great, great honor for me. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. I think, so this is, I worked with Tatas for over 2 decades. And I've held Ratan Tata. Indeed, I work closely with N. Chandra, who's the current chairman of Tata Group. And I did not get, I do speak at, some other colleges, business colleges like yours for a few years, but, this video I got yesterday evening, and I don't know, there are so many messages in it. I don't know how many of them you got it, but it's a very, very powerful statement that he gave. Every statement, every word had a lot of meaning in it. And I think that's some of the things that I wanted to tell you beyond the textbook today. The first was humility. If you remember, he said, he raised, I'm humbled. He talked of humility at least multiple times, at least 2 to 3 times during the video. And I think that's the first thing that you must learn. You will have successes, you will have failures. As long as you are humble, as long as you stay that, you will continue to keep learning. Don't get into your ego. You are never the most powerful person in spite of your successes. That's the first thing that I got out of that video. He led the biggest business group in India. He still was humbled completely. I think the other most important message that this video actually gave was about carrying people along. He got an award. He could have said, I did it. He said, everybody did it. Each one of them. He said, my CEO did it. Ralph did it. He said 20,000 people did it. I'm only on their behalf. An organization is all about people, gentlemen. When you go about, there are products that you will make. There are services that you will have. There are brands, there's media, there's everything that you will talk about. But eventually it's all about people. So don't forget, carrying people along, working with people is the most powerful thing that you will carry with yourself when you get out of a business school and when you are in a business school. Indeed, Ratan Tata himself had said sometime, and I would love to read this: if you want to walk fast, walk alone. But if you want to walk far, walk together. I'll repeat that, because you'll do a lot of case studies together as a team, and that will be the most important learning for you in an MBA field. And for the benefit of all 118 of you, I'll repeat that. If you want to walk far, walk together. Please remember that. That's the way. Collaboration and working with people is the key to success in organizations today. Somewhere in this message, if you remember, he also said to his team at Coventry, let's run shoulder to shoulder. That's the spirit. That's the spirit of a leader, actually. I think the third thing that I got out of this message was, well, he didn't know. I mean, if you realize, he didn't know why he bought Jaguar Land Rover. He bought it. People criticized him for having bought it. His own people did. It was in the media. I don't know if they really had the money. They actually took a lot of debt. Tata Group took a lot of debt to buy it. It's very difficult to make decisions when you go into corporate life. What will turn right? What will turn wrong? You don't know. But I think the quality of a manager is taking decisions and making them right. It's not about taking the right decisions. And then again, I quote Ratan Tata again. He said in one of his speeches, I don't believe in taking the right decisions. I take decisions and then make them right. And that's the spirit that you'll have to carry with you. Take decisions when you get into the corporate world and make them turn right. The other thing that I noticed in this video was, about passion. He was passionate about automobiles. He said that, at the beginning, and therefore he followed his passion. He didn't know why he bought Jaguar Land Rover, but because he was passionate about automobiles, and because there was an organization there, a brand there that he valued, and because it was close to his heart, he went ahead and acquired it. His work was his passion. In his free time, he went to Tata Motors. So whatever you do, wherever you are, be passionate about it. Whatever knowledge you gain, whatever books you read, if you are not passionate about the work you do, you will never succeed. And that's not something that a business school will teach you. That's the thing that you learn out of your experiences. I think another very critical thing that came out of this video was about vision. Well, he said, I didn't do anything. Ralph and the team at JLR did it. I only went and said something to them. And that was a very powerful statement. He said, I said them, come on, let's run shoulder to shoulder and reignite the power of these brands. His 5 words, reignite the power of the brand, actually turned around Jaguar Land Rover, people, the organization, the people rallied behind him. They realized that they were part of a powerful brand and they could turn that brand around. I think that was a leader. That was the vision that he had. So whatever you do, have a vision behind it. Don't do it for the heck of doing it. Decide this is where you want to go. Have that vision. He had that vision. He wanted to own that big brand. He wanted to turn it around. He was passionate about it. A few other things. So these were messages that came from that video. Interestingly, I got this video yesterday evening at about 5. And when I looked through it, I said, what more powerful than this, than this to, give to somebody who's getting into the world of business now, really. But a few more things that I'd like to say. There's no substitute for managing time and working hard. Anybody who tells you I'm smart and I'll manage to get the right marks, to get the right successes, will only keep managing, will never do it. Nothing beats working hard. Nothing beats, learning it the right way. So don't hesitate in working hard. Again, a corollary from what Mr. Tata said, it's all about ethics. Please be ethical in your approach. And the world today, the next message that I would love to give you is global. That's the today is the era of being global. You think globally. You will read a lot of global case studies. You apply them locally. So go global, but think local. And when I say local, it's not about local in India. It's local being anywhere in any part of the world. There are Indians, and I don't need to name them, Indians of the most powerful companies in the world today who learned in India, went to the US and did extremely well there because they would have had a global vision, but they knew how to apply them there. I worked in different continents of the world. I worked in Middle East. I worked in Africa. I lived in Europe for several years. I handled Southeast Asia, South Asia, which I handle now, all these continents. the concepts of management are the same across the world. It's how you apply them locally actually that will count. So understand your market, understand the business that you're working in, understand those global concepts when you're in a business school, but learn to apply them locally. And that will change, the way you look at your work. For me, the last message is, there is this powerful concept called a nation. I don't know, there are various definitions of a nation, but I think there is a very powerful concept called a nation. And the nation that we live in today is India, So everything that you do for strengthening your nation, have it at the back of your mind that it's your country which you're going to strengthen. Because today you live in a strong, secure country. Imagine children like you who live in countries which are not safe and not secure today. Imagine children living in Syria, Afghanistan, they live in an unsecure country. So whatever you do when you get into the business world, besides looking at your work, besides thinking about what to do, think about the nation, the country, and how your world helps progress, strengthen this country. It's not just about the economy of this country. It's about the ethics of the country. You guys are the future of this country. Look at making a strong nation in everything that you do in the business world. Keep that at the back of your mind. And if at any point in time you get an opportunity, you get an opportunity which propels you further, but doesn't propel the nation further, shun it, leave it, because you are today happy because you are in a secure nation. Strengthen the nation, keep that in the back of your mind. That's all from me for today. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. It was thought-provoking session, actually, I should say. And I would, few lines of Ratan Tata, as you said, ups and downs in life are very important to keep us going, because a straight line, even in an ICG, means we are not alive. So this one quotation, what I've just read, which comes from your video also, very inspiring and thought-provoking session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Now I would like to invite a chief guest for the day, Mr. Nitish Bajaj. He is the CEO of Consumer Product Division, Piramal Enterprises Limited. He brings with him extensive experience and knowledge in business and marketing strategy, processing, restructuring, innovation, digitization, media planning, entry strategy, and merger and acquisition in the consumer healthcare and automotive space. He has been instrumental in launching and building the architecture of global power brands through robust consumers' insights and by creating innovative pipelines. Prior to joining Piramal, Mr. Bajaj was Senior Vice President Marketing at Seat Tires and has worked with organizations such as Reckitt Benckiser Limited, Ranbaxy Global Consumer Healthcare, and Hence India Private Limited. Mr. Bajaj holds a postgraduate diploma in management from IIM Ahmedabad and a degree in Bachelor of Technology in Metallurgical Engineering from IIT BHU. Sir, I would request you to enlighten our students with your insightful thoughts. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Vartika, and good morning, PGDM 2021-23 batch of Jaipuria School. It is my honor and my pleasure to be here with all of you. And thank you so much, Mr. Jaipuria, Mr. Mishra, and the entire team of Jaipuria School of Management to have me here. I think your orientation program is very rightly named as Prarambh, because as I see it, it's an unveiling of a new chapter in your life. And I'm sure each one of you is here with a lot of ambition, a lot of aspirations about what life has in store for you ahead. So I'll try to talk some things which I have taken from my experience, and I'll try to give it a construct so that you can remember it. The way I see it, management does teach us a lot of jargon, but I think it also teaches us a construct in which we can frame our thoughts. So I'll talk about 5 O's which have really taken me forward in my life. The first and foremost, of course, is the objective. जीवन में लक्ष्य क्या है, goal क्या है, क्या achieve करना है, and that you must always form on anything you embark on. Have a goal in your life, have a time frame for that goal. Some of us can work with a short-term goal, some of us can work with a long-term goal, but you need to have a goal and you need to have a time frame for it. If I reflect on my career, again, when I was in class 12th, I had a goal to get in engineering. Once I got into engineering, I had a goal to do MBA, but I always had a goal. Even when I got into jobs, I had a next role in sight when I started working on the role in my career. And I kept moving within those timeframes if I was not getting that goal in where I was. But I kept pursuing my goal relentlessly in a time frame. I'm also an endurance cyclist. I cycle long distance. I've cycled up to 600 kilometers at a stretch. When I go on cycling for such long distances, again, I have a goal in mind. Of course, the goal is 600, but I break that goal into parts. I set smaller goals of 30 kilometers because I know that 30 kilometer I do almost every day. So the moment you embark on a goal, it's also good to break that goal into parts, make it into parts which you know you can achieve it because you've done it in your times. And then you can keep stretching yourself for the next part as the life takes you ahead. Second thing I will talk about is optimism. Never ever in your life say die. I think if I reflect on what a lot of speakers said, what Mr. Vash said, what Gaurav said, what Mr. Jaipuria also said, failures are part of our learning. We cannot have life without failures. If I reflect on what J.K. Rowling said, she said in life it is impossible to live without failing at something. And if you haven't failed, you have lived so cautiously that you have not failed, then you have actually not lived a life at all. In which case, again, you have failed by default. So please be make sure that it's okay to fail in life. Sometimes in your career, you will end up performing poorly in exams. Sometimes you will do well, but you may not get the marks you deserve. But remember to take the learnings from that. Don't ruminate or spend too much time making yourself sad about failures. Have I failed in life? There have been multiple times I failed in life. I didn't clear my MBA in the first go. I tried again. I cleared it the second time. In JEE, I got my rank of 1840. Thought it wasn't good enough. I tried again, but next time I got a rank of 2270. I was even a bigger disappointment. But did these failures stop me? No, they didn't. I have learned and moved forward from these failures and made sure of where I was. I do better in that. Third thing I'll talk about in life is observation. I think keep observing. Life has a lot of learnings to offer to us. In everything around us, there is a learning. We live a life every day where if we are observant, we learn a lot. We learn from our peers, we learn from our professors, we learn from people around us every day. And if you are observing, you will learn. Mr. Jaipuria talked about trying to see why, how, where for you. I think if you are observing, you will be able to find the various whys and you'll be able to question. From my larger career of marketing, and I have spent about 20 years within a role of various roles of marketing, I think most of my learnings are from observations. I learn from the motivations of my peers, my team, my consumers, my retailers. And I have been part of some very interesting and insightful campaigns. And I don't think those campaigns were possible if we were not really having the inquisitiveness to learn, to unearth the insights. So if you recall of C8 advertising, the insight of roads are full of idiot, or the Haath Dikhao, which is about people crossing the road by showing the hand. And those are the insights which you can get from your day-to-day life. And if you can translate
Sir,
Bajaj, you got muted.
yeah, so you need to unmute yourself.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So I was saying, if you are observant, you get these insights in life. And from those insights, you can really create some good path-breaking things for yourself. Fourth thing I'll talk about is scout for opportunity. Be always on a lookout because things are changing. Mr. Jaipuri also talked about the world in itself changing with the pandemic, right? There are so many things which are going to come new. In your life, you will find things are changing around you. You need to be always looking out for you, what it can bring for you. And don't wait for opportunity to come knocking at your door. I think you need to go and grab it. If I have to reflect our last 1.5 years with pandemic, when the pandemic first struck, and I know healthcare business, everybody would think that healthcare benefited very positively from pandemic. It isn't the case with every sector. Even in our business, there were brands which are in, let's say, space of personal care and one or two more categories, which massively went down. When the lockdowns came in, the business suddenly came to a standstill for a period of 2 weeks or so. And we had a significant downturn in those months. Did we really get bogged down, or we said we'll change? I think what we said as a business is we will find the next set of opportunities for us, which will help us recover the losses. So we launched a lot of COVID related products in that period. So we came with disinfectant sprays, we launched sanitizers, we launched disinfectant wipes. And within a period of 3 months, we were able to turn around the business and get back to very strong growths. And not only what we lost out in the period of 3 months of pandemic, we recovered that. We actually came back to register our regular 20% plus growth rates in the business. What we also learned in that process is that organization has much greater agility than what we were stretching out to. In fact, that adversity got the better of business because people rallied around on making the transformation. As an organization, we typically launch 5 to 6 brands every year. In that year, 5 to 6 new products every year. In that year, we launched 40 new products. We launched 35 new SKUs, and all of them virtually. Normally, you're working shoulder to shoulder, as Gaurav said, but in that period, we were working shoulder to shoulder, but working virtually. We were constantly connected with each other on WhatsApp, making sure that decisions are taken faster, but we were making sure that agility is there for business to really transform. The last thing and the most important thing, and again, from the message of Gaurav, I remember he talked about from Mr. Ratan Tata's experience. That's about obsession. You need to fall in love with what you do. It's not that you will always, and choosing the word, you need to fall in love with what you do, because you may not always find what you want to do to be there for you. So it's important that you fall in love with what you do. There's no excellence in life if you're doing something because someone else has asked to do. And I reflect again on the story which Dr. Mishra told us, which is about the stone cutters. And there were people who were saying we are cutting stones, and there were people who were saying we are building a temple. All of them were doing the same job, but the people who had found a higher purpose in their task and who had fallen in love with what they were doing, they were the ones who were really enjoying that experience. So find that something which gives you a joy, a spark, and a desire to achieve. Be it a teaching, be it any other professional career, if you are not obsessed about it, you will not excel. I'll again reflect on from my own career. I remember when after my engineering, I joined Bokaro Steel Plant in Steel Authority of India Limited. And after 1 month of management training stint, induction program, I was told you will be going in sales and marketing. And I went to the HR head and I said, what have I done the metallurgical engineering for? I want to be on the shop floor. I want to make steel. I want to build this country. And he said, son, the jobs are always like arranged marriage. You first take them up and then you fall in love. Right. And that thing stayed with me. I did take that opportunity to go into a sales and marketing. And today I have a career which has flourished on sales and marketing. If I would not have heeded to his advice that day, I wouldn't have landed possibly in this role. Maybe I would have been making a steel. I may have been successful there also. That I can't say. But what I do know is what I took on and I really passionately followed it, pursued it through, I flourished. And that's what I would really want to leave with you. So I'll just sum up my 5 key thoughts for you. First is have an objective with a time frame. Be optimistic always, because life has a lot in store for you. Failures should not bother you down. Don't ever give up. Be observant. Be always taking from what life has to offer to you, what your professors are offering you, what your peers are offering you, what your teachers are offering you. Seek out the opportunity. And as I said, don't let the opportunity knock on your door. Go and seek out, grab the opportunity which comes your way. And last but most importantly, be obsessive about what you do, because only when you're obsessive would you really be succeeding in that. I'm sure this is now a time for all of you to really take forward your life. Please be doing whatever you do, as Alok also said, do it while having fun. Don't sweat about it. Keep these simple things in mind, but enjoy what you're doing. And I'm sure all of you will go and make it big and make your parents, your professors, your peers, and your country proud. Wish you all the best as you prarambh a new journey in your life. Thank you. And back to Khushbu, Dr. Vartika, sorry.
Thank you so much, sir. I picked up one more line. Every challenge brings a lot of opportunities for all of us. So thank you so much, sir. This brings us to the end of the inaugural ceremony. Now, I would like to invite our Dean Academics, Dr. Timira Shukla, for delivering word of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Vartika. Respected Chief Guest, Mr. Nitish Bajaj, CEO, Consumer Products Division, Piramal, India. Guest of honor, Mr. Gaurav Sabharwal, CEO, India and South Asia, Kantar. Special guest, Mr. Alok Vash, former Group CFO, Jubilant Life Sciences and Yatra.com. Chairman, Seth Anandram Jaipuria Education Society, Shri Shishir Jaipuria ji. Director, Dr. Jitendra Kumar Mishra, Shri Vinod Malhotra ji, esteemed and other esteemed members of Board of Governors and Academic Advisory Council, Dr. Narang, Director, Jaipuria Institute of Management, faculty colleagues, members of administration, parents, and dear budding managers. It is a matter of great privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this momentous day. On behalf of Jaipuria School of Business, I would like to thank our chief guest, Mr. Nitish Bajaj, for sparing his busiest time in gracing this momentous occasion. We had an opportunity to hear your thoughts, which I'm sure will guide us in all our future endeavors. Have a goal with a time frame, never say die attitude, scout for opportunities, never be afraid of failures, fall in love with what you're doing are some of the mantras which I'm sure will provide a roadmap for excellence in the journey of life. I would like to thank our guest of honor, Mr. Gaurav Sabharwal, and special guest, Mr. Alok Vash, for their words of inspiration. And imploring that an ignited mind is the most powerful weapon on earth. I would like to thank our honorable chairman, Shri Shishir Jaipuria ji, who graced us with his presence and guidance, and imploring each one of us to learn, unlearn in the light of rapid changes in the industry 4.0. I would like to thank our director, Dr. Mishra, for his constant support and encouragement and providing a detailed roadmap for in the journey of learning, development, and professional success in these times of pandemic. I would like to put on record my deep sense of appreciation to my erudite faculty colleagues and members of administration, media, technical team for brilliant organization of this virtual event. I would like to thank parents, family members, and students for joining us on this day of commencement of a new journey of learning. Wish you all the best, and I'm sure your decision to embark on a professional journey of management will take you to greater heights of excellence and success. Thank you all for joining us on this occasion.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This brings us towards the conclusion of the inaugural ceremony and mark the beginning for the learning journey of PGDM batch 2021-23. Dear students, the detailed schedule of the orientation program will be sent to you by evening today. In case of any difficulty, you may reach out to your respective faculty members. Thank you, guest Eminent Speak, for joining the session. Namaskar, stay safe.
Thank you and namaste, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.